Were you suicidal?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, I was saying to God,
Okay.
give me some answers or I'm done. I don't want to play. I'm out. I don't want to play. This is no fun. It's more work than it is fun. And I was done with the whole thing. I don't think that I would have ended my life that night, but I was absolutely in that frame of mind of.
But it was in the realm of possibility.
Oh my gosh,
one day.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
through. I'm finished.
Okay.
You know, either I find some answers here relatively quickly, or I have no reason to go on. Zero reason to go on, like this. And I heard a voice over my right shoulder, right over here. It was a voice in the room. And so there I was sitting on my couch. What are the rules? Somebody tell me the rules. I'll play. Just give me the rule book. And while you're at it, don't change them every 5 minutes. And I was really, really livid about how everything was turning out. And then I heard a voice over my right shoulder, just as clear as we're hearing each other now, a physical present voice. And the voice said very quietly, do you want answers to all of these questions? Or are you just venting? And of course, I turned around, I was shocked, I was scared. Who's in my house? At 4:20 in the morning, and there was no one there. Then I was really scared, like, wow, this is going from bad to worse here. Now I'm hearing voices. But in that next moment, as I was moving into that feeling of fearfulness, like I could have sworn I just heard somebody back there. In that very next moment, I was overcome with a feeling of peace and tranquility and serenity, and I almost want to say inner wholeness, a sense of, utter safety. That it was just utterly safe to be where I was right then. And I wept at the peace and joy of it. Just sat there and then I thought to myself, well, you know what? I am venting, but if somebody could give me answers, I guess this is why I sat down with this yellow legal pad writing these crazy questions. I really would like to have answers if you had them. And I was given the answers to those questions. And the answers came to me then, it was almost as if I could characterize it, as if that voice kind of moved into my mind. I was having the experience of listening to someone else give me the answers to my questions. And the answers that I received brought up more questions, of course. So I would ask those questions and get an answer immediately, and ask those questions and get an answer immediately. And before I knew it, I was involved in a on-paper dialogue, which I chose to call, after it was all said and done, Conversations with God. But I'll tell you, Lisa, that before I could even finish asking a question, I'd get the answer to it.
And that never happened to you before?
No, nothing like that.
So when you wrote it down, what made you think, oh, I'm going to turn this into a book, and how did you even go about that process?
I didn't intend it to be a book. I was journaling in my private journal.
Yeah, but I'm saying once you wrote it.
Well, what happened was, in the middle of the writing, I of course began to wonder, because I should explain that this went on for many, many months, not just that one night. That is, I would be awakened most nights at 4:25 in the morning. I would just wake up as if someone was tapping me on the shoulder, and I'd be led almost by the nose, in a sense, out to that yellow legal pad, which I had taken to leaving on my coffee table. And I went out to the store a few days later when I realized I had written out the entire pad, handwritten. I got more of them and more of them. Before I knew it, I had 6 or 8 of those yellow legal pads filled with this daily experience that I was having, like someone was visiting me every day and inviting me to ask whatever question I wanted to ask, and I was able to receive the answers in that way. Somewhere in the middle of that process, it said, this will one day become a book. And I thought, now I gotcha. Because that's a measurable outcome. All the rest that I was receiving was theoretical, conceptual in nature. Wonderful stuff, but it could be true or it could not be true. There's no way to know. It was just conceptual. But this was a statement of fact this will one day become a book. And I thought, we'll see about that. I can measure that. What's fascinating about it was I knew there was no chance in the world for that to happen. First of all, publishers don't publish books by unknown or unpublished authors in any event, and certainly not a book by an unpublished author who claims to be talking directly to God. I mean, this is insane. So I knew that there was no publisher in the country that was going to pick up that book and say, stop the presses, stop the presses, this guy's talking to God. It was ridiculous. So I thought, I got him, and we'll find out. I'm obviously making this all up. But in fact, I sent it to 5 publishers, and not 20 and not 30. I wasn't really, trying hard. I just sent it to 5 publishers, and one of the 5 called me. And it was all handwritten, of course, but I had a wonderful lady keyboard it on a computer, and we sent the manuscript to 5 publishers. And this man called me, Robert Friedman from Hampton Roads, and he said, we really love this stuff. Tell me about this. What's happening? And I explained to him, just as I'm explaining to you, I said, look, this is just my private journal. I just sent it because I'm daring it to be right. It says this will become a book one day. And he said, well, you know what? It is going to be a book. We want to publish this. And I couldn't believe it. Nor did I believe it after it was published, because they raced it to print. They didn't just take a year or 6 months to put it into a book form. They put it into a book form in about 4 or 5 months, which is very fast in the publishing business. And after it was on the street, it became an instant